Good afternoon, welcome back to another Coastal Explorers, and we've made it across into the mainland today to the city of Shenzhen. 18 million people here, right on the border with Hong Kong. Today, my wife and daughter, they're going shopping, and I'm going to take you on a trip to one of the oldest ancient cities here in southern China. Let's go. And just a short taxi ride and we are here at Nantou Ancient City. Now, as you enter here, there are a few things to check out. So we're going to go in this temple right beside me. That looks really cool. And we're also going to check out the museum. So let's find out more about the history here of what life was like over the last 2,000 years here in southern China. Let's go.
Nantou Ancient City was first established in the 4th century during the Eastern Jin Dynasty, chosen for its strategic position on the Pearl River Delta. It soon became the capital of Bao'an County, the administrative core of what would eventually become modern-day Shenzhen. By the Ming Dynasty, Nantou's influence had grown even further, became the seat of Xin'an County, a massive jurisdiction that spanned Shenzhen, Hong Kong and parts of Guangzhou. This small walled city oversaw trade, taxation and military defence across the region. Its economy thrived on salt production and maritime trade, boosted by its proximity to Guangzhou, which, under the Qing Dynasty, became China's only official port for foreign trade. Nantou's coastal location made it a frontline defence post against pirates and foreign incursions. In 1394, the city was fortified with stone walls, watchtowers and gatehouses to guard China's southern flank. For centuries, merchants, soldiers and scholars passed through these streets, making Nantou a crucial node in the empire's southern defences. Today, Nantou is a quiet historical enclave surrounded by one of the world's most high-tech cities. Its seat as an administrative centre moved east to Shenzhen or Shenzhen in the mid-20th century. But make no mistake, this ancient town laid the groundwork for Shenzhen's rise. Without Nantou, the city we know today might never have existed.
On the wall here, we've got a fantastic map from 1866 of this county. We've got Hong Kong here at the bottom, and then the new territories, and then right over here we have ancient city of Nantou, right on the eastern banks of the Pearl River back in the day. Such a strategic place at the mouth of the river here. The capital did move to Shenzhen back in the 20th century actually, and this whole area here is the city of Shenzhen that we see today. Right, let's walk up because I can see the entrance to the old walled village. Let's go.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Shenzhen.
Thank you. So from the temple, just walking up this slight incline, because at the bottom there would have been the Pearl River. Now you've got to go about 3 or 4 kilometers the other way to see the entrance to the walled city, and here it is. What a magnificent entranceway. 1394 this fort was constructed, and that would have housed all the military plus all of the people who lived in the local villages. They would have been nice and secure in these parts, secure from raiders who wanted to take this part of China, from pirates who were big, and pirates were around well up into the 19th, some say even 20th century in southern China, much more than you ever hear in the Pirates of the Caribbean. This is where the big place was for pirates in the world, and here we are, look, the wonderful entranceway. Let's take a little look. Okay, let's head through. Let's count the steps to see how deep it is. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 big steps to get through, possibly around 10 meters then. That is a thick wall to get through here. Wow, and we are in the ancient city. Now this has been gentrified very much over the last 5-10 years, and this is a great hub for coffee shops, for restaurants, for boutique shops. So we're going to have a little walk around, try and find some more history, but also have a little look at the local shops. Let's go. do have to watch out for those scooters. Everything here is electric, all the cars, all the scooters. So yeah, silent but deadly, these things. Wow, check out the gatehouse. Absolutely beautiful. We just entered one of the museums here, one of the many museums here at Nantou, and I believe this is an old Hakka house, now a museum, but we can see what I love about this. We have these open parts to the house which would let the light in to light up the whole place. Not many windows, if not any, for safety here back in the day, so you had these sections within the house for safety. And also we've got a trough here that would fill with water and some sort of drainage system here as well in the centre. And as we all know, the key to a good walled city or fortification is their water source. And we'll have a little look at a natural well further round. And just above the east gate, we've got a McDonald's right here. There we go. There's everything here. No, I don't have a lot of McDonald's, but when I'm in a new country, I do like to try now. This is one country, two systems, of course, Hong Kong and China, but this is one country, two different types of McDonald's menus. And today, I've gone for the German sausage. Now, unfortunately, the battery packed up at this point, but it was a very nice German sausage double burger. And do check out the wide range of things on offer at McDonald's in China next time you're there. It's nice to get off the beaten track, off the main tourist trap, get down these local alleyways. We can see these type of buildings here behind me. These are the ones that we quite often see in Hong Kong, and that's because Shenzhen being a new city, it was Deng Xiaoping in the late 70s, early 80s that sort of put all the money in this part of China and built the city of Shenzhen. So yeah, we'd see these type of buildings in Hong Kong, not necessarily with the bars on the windows. You very much see that in Macau, not necessarily in Hong Kong. And right behind this wall is the Catholic Church here. This was started by missionaries in the late 19th century, and in the early 20th century more and more arrived here and built schools and hospitals for the local community here in Nantou. Cool little barber shop here. Looks like 10 yuan for a haircut. There we go. What's that about? $1 US, $50, $2, something like that. Get yourself to Nantou Ancient City if you want a haircut, chaps. They're like rabbit warrens, these little alleyways, so once you are off that main path, yeah, it's really, really easy to talk to your neighbour across the street, that's for sure. Got everything going on here, lots of construction. As I said, I think it's all being gentrified, but still we have got some old things left. What a crazy little place. Anyone wanting to dress as an eccentric Edwardian gentleman or lady, check out Soaring here. This has got some real cool clothing in. Not quite seen a store like that ever before. I've been trying to find two special shops here. One is the reptile shop and one is the spider shop for a student of mine at school. So if you know where it is, I thought it might be here outside Starry Forest boutique store, but cannot see it anywhere. So if you know where it is, write it in the comments below. Now, for all those cartophiles out there, cartophile, map experts and map enthusiasts, check out this. This is the Nanshan Museum, and it's got maps dating back centuries and centuries, all from the early days here in southern China. Right on the other side of this wall is the local middle school. It's absolutely ginormous. If this is the middle school, I wonder what the high school looks like. It's got a bell tower and a clock tower. Now, it reminds me of the Great Clearance. Like teachers, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Well, the Great Clearance took place here in southern China. Right here, next to this Tesla car, in fact, and all these electric scooters. Let's find out more about the Great Clearance of 1661.
In 1661, one of the most extreme social engineering campaigns in Chinese history began, the Great Land Clearance. The Qing dynasty had seized power from the Ming, but not everyone was ready to surrender. Ming loyalists had fled to the coast, especially Taiwan, and were launching raids with the help of pirate warrior Zheng Chenggong, also known as Koxinga. In response, the Qing issued a radical order: evacuate the entire southeastern coastline. Millions were forced to move 30 to 50 kilometers inland, abandoning homes, farms and livelihoods. Villages were burned, crops destroyed. The coastline was turned into a no-man's land. The goal? Starve Koxinga of support, deny him food, shelter or spies. But the cost was devastating. Famine, disease and death followed in the wake of forced relocation. Entire coastal communities were wiped off the map. Meanwhile, Zheng Chenggong pushed forward. In 1661, the same year the clearance began, he led a massive naval expedition and seized Taiwan from Dutch colonial rule, establishing it as a stronghold for the Ming resistance. But just a year later, in 1662, Koxinga died suddenly of illness. His death weakened the Ming loyalists, though his descendants held Taiwan for 2 more decades. Finally, in 1683, the Qing defeated them and brought Taiwan under imperial control. With Koxinga's threat gone, the Qing lifted the Great Clearance. But after more than 20 years, the damage was done. Coastal China had been forever changed, depopulated, destabilized and scarred by one of the harshest policies in imperial history.
And here we go, as we go through the undergrowth, we can see just here the well that I was talking about earlier. All good fortresses and castles need a well, and there it is, right in the centre of the town. And from the well here, it actually comes out the ground and goes right down the street here. This is really cool. As we leave the ancient city behind, right next to it is Zhongshan Park. Now, I was here last week and it was so hot, my camera overheated. So we're going to try it again and film the park today because it's got some amazing monuments. So let's check them out and find out who's in the park. Now, I've never seen this before. A noisometer, currently showing 75 decibels, maybe because I think this is a feng shui garden here behind, so they don't want you to talk too loud, but there we go. A noise meter on the side of a building. Have you got one near you? Well, that's an ominous sign written there. Best be careful. Every park in China has got this keep fit stuff. When I was here last week, there was a guy, he must have been about 90 years old, doing turns on these bars here. The weather's coming, so it's a bit cold today, so it's not as busy. Although we can see them just down there in front of the Wuxi heads. Let's find out about that.
In the mists of Chinese mythology, Fuxi stands as one of the most ancient and revered cultural heroes. A sage king said to have lived thousands of years ago, long before recorded history. Often depicted with a human face and a serpent's body, Fuxi is credited with teaching humanity the basics of civilization: fishing, hunting, domesticating animals, and even creating the Bagua, the 8 trigrams that form the foundation of Taoist cosmology and the I Ching. According to legend, he and his sister wife, Nua, were the last survivors of a great flood, tasked with repopulating the earth. To the ancient Chinese, Fuxi wasn't just a mythical figure. He was the blueprint for order, knowledge, and human progress. His story bridges the divine and the human, marking the very dawn of Chinese culture.
Got the old boys in the old pagoda there playing cards. It's great to see. Even actually, it's a light drizzle. People are out in the park. People are enjoying themselves. And that's what it's all about, right? Life. Enjoying yourself. Got a cool little police golf cart there. Parks Police. And this here is the North Gate. No longer here. I guess only 2 of the gates are now standing, but this takes us into what is a beautifully sculpted, manicured garden for the whole of Shenzhen to use. But I must say, you get these parks all over the city. Being a new city, they've done a great job in making sure there's a wide range of green spaces and urban spaces. So let's check out this park. Look at that, we've stumbled across the Shenzhen flower show here in Nantou. And we've got a little performance going on. I wonder if I can get a photo with the guys. Let's see. Hey! Fabulous, it's raining and now it's still full of people here enjoying the park. We've got kiosks over here, but we've also got a famous statue. A recent monument actually to Lin Zexi. So let's find out more about him. Let's go. That is not Lin Zexi. That is Tony Flower. But Lin Zexi is just over there. And that's not him either. Let's keep going. But this is Lin Zexi, and in short, he was sent down in 1839 by the emperor to deal with the problem of the British selling the Chinese opium, which they were getting addicted to. He strong-armed the British into a deal where he burned over 20,000 crates of British opium just north of here in Humen in 1839. This ultimately started procedures to sort of lead to the first Opium War, where Britain took Hong Kong forcibly in 1841 with the signing of the Treaty of Nanking in 1842. But we'll find out more about him. He is an interesting fella and got an interesting past. So let's keep going around because there's a couple more monuments here that I want you to check out. Our penultimate one is Lei Anjou. He was a general in the Opium War, and way back in 1839 he was involved in the Battle of Kowloon. Now, even if you're from Hong Kong, do you know about the Battle of Kowloon? Is it a Friday night in TST coming out of one of the Irish pubs? Possibly, but no, this is 1839. Let's find out all about the Battle of Kowloon.
In 1839, China tried to restore order in its own house, and the British Empire responded with gunfire. The Battle of Kowloon wasn't just a skirmish, it was a warning shot in a much deeper struggle over sovereignty, justice, and foreign exploitation. For years, British merchants had flooded southern China with opium, devastating communities and draining silver from the empire. The Qing Dynasty has had enough. Commissioner Lin Zexi arrived in Canton with full imperial backing to stamp out the drug trade. He seized and destroyed over 20,000 crates of British opium and demanded foreign traders stop trafficking poison or face expulsion. To the British government and East India Company merchants, it wasn't just about drugs, it was about free trade, national honour and imperial pride. The dramatic public burning of the opium, carried out without compensation, was viewed as a humiliating insult. British newspapers fanned the flames, portraying China as despotic and unreasonable. While some British voices condemned the opium trade on moral grounds, the dominant feeling among the elite was anger and a desire to reassert British dominance through force. Then came the breaking point. In July, British sailors got drunk and started a fight in Kowloon. A Chinese villager, Lin Weishi, was beaten to death. But instead of turning over the suspect to face Chinese justice, the British claimed their citizens were above local law, refusing to cooperate with the investigation. Commissioner Lin responded with strength. If the British wouldn't respect China's laws, they would no longer enjoy China's goods. He ordered a full embargo. Chinese merchants were forbidden from selling the British food, water, or fuel. It was a peaceful but powerful form of resistance. This included the Portuguese enclave in Macau, where in late August 1839, the British were ordered to leave. This left the British in a desperate situation. Even their regular fresh watering holes on Hong Kong Island had signs in English that read, "This water has been poisoned." Chinese Admiral Wen Tianxiang deployed war junks to enforce the embargo, led by the Lieutenant Colonel Lei Anjou. This was the beginning of the first conflict in the Opium War, pitting Lei Anjou directly against Captain Charles Elliot. On September the 4th, risking famine, British warships anchored near Kowloon and issued an ultimatum to Chinese officials. If food and provisions were not delivered by 3 p.m, then they would open fire. When their demands were not met, the British ships fired. Chinese war junks responded with their own cannons, as well as supporting fire from the forts on the mainland. The British responded with force. By 4:30 p.m, running low on ammunition, the British retreated. They were followed by the Chinese junks until the reinforcements arrived, including HMS Volage. The Chinese retreated then back to the harbour. Ending in a very much a stalemate, Lei Anjou reported a win for the Chinese. However, this skirmish marked the beginning of what would be a wider imperial conflict. Britain would soon demand compensation, ports and territory, all because China tried to enforce its own laws. The Battle of Kowloon was more than a fight over ships, it was a clash of worldviews. China was defending its sovereignty, Britain was defending its profits. From this moment forward, the First Opium War and what the Chinese would name the Century of Humiliation had truly begun.
And if you do want to find out more about Lei Anjou, there is a museum down in the old city which I had a little walk around, which is great and tells you all about the sacking of Nantou in 1858 by the British. It also talks you about the fort being taken just 4 kilometers from here during the Opium War as well. So do check it out if you're walking through the ancient city. It's in one of the old Hakka houses. Right, on to the last monument, and the biggest by sure. And here it is. I told you it was bigger and better. This is the Sun Yat-sen monument. Sun Yat-sen, the founder of the Republic of China, that is first interim president in 1912, and it was his leadership that helped overthrow the Qing Dynasty here in 1911. More about him because he played a big part in Hong Kong's history, where he spent many of his years. Thanks for joining me today on our walk around Nantou Ancient City and Zhongshan Park. Hope you've enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about the history here in southern China. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're off to Thailand for the Easter holidays, so a bit of sun hopefully, a bit of relaxation, and maybe 1 or 2 videos from Thailand. So we'll catch you on the next one.